He went missing and the new boyfriend got a Ferrari. $35 million bail and she walked free. She didn't pull the trigger, but did she plan it? This wasn't just a murder, this was powerless justice. Keith Green vanished on April 28, 2016. A young father with a calm presence and quiet confidence, Keith had never been the kind of man to disappear without a word. Friends called, no response. Days passed, nothing. But the world kept turning. Except for those who loved him, they were trapped in a nightmare of silence. But there was one detail that raised suspicion early within weeks of Keith's disappearance. The man dating his ex-girlfriend showed up driving a brand new Ferrari. A car like that does not go unnoticed, especially in a murder case.
Want you to get rid of Keith Green. I say, what do you mean rid of Keith Green? Carrie is the one who was talking. He wants you to pretty much kill Keith Green.
A complicated love triangle. Keith Green and his high school sweetheart, Lee Villanueva, had been together for years. They had children, shared a life, and even after their breakup, remained connected through co-parenting.
It sucks. I don't want to leave the kids, but I don't know what to do. I've been so stressed trying to figure this out.
But by 2016, their relationship had officially ended. And Lee had moved on quickly with a man named Olivier Adela, a personal trainer who carried himself with confidence, wore designer clothes, and had expensive taste.
I'm saying to you, we both made mistakes, and that's that. Let's just move on. There's nothing I can say right now.
It's very easy for you to sit here and say whatever you want to say because your life has not changed at all. The only thing that's different is that you have a new man that you sleep next to at night. That's it.
I'm very happy. Aren't you happy that I'm happy? I thought if you care about me, you would think that I'm happy.
To outsiders, Olivier was flashy, some said arrogant, but Keith, always grounded, tried to remain civil for the sake of the children. According to friends, Keith was not interested in rekindling the relationship, but he did want to maintain a sense of normalcy for their kids. And that's why when Lee invited Keith to dinner on the night of April 28, he accepted without hesitation. She said she wanted to talk about their children and about co-parenting more effectively. It seemed like a good step forward. That dinner would be the last time anyone saw Keith Green alive. The disappearance. The night went silent. Keith did not return. His phone was off. Texts unread. Family tried to stay calm at first, thinking he might have gone to a friend's place or needed some space. But the next morning, when Keith missed a planned appointment and never checked in with his children, panic spread like wildfire. He was reported missing. Friends rallied to find him. Posters went up. Police began their initial questioning, and almost immediately, the timeline raised eyebrows, because the last known person to see Keith Green was Lee, his ex-girlfriend, the woman who invited him over for that mysterious dinner. She told officers the dinner had been short. They had talked for a while and Keith had left around 9 p.m. According to her, he was in good spirits. No argument, no tension. He simply walked out and never came back. But there was one major problem with her story. Security footage showed that Keith never left her house that night.
Would you harm Keith?
No, I will not harm Keith.
Would you have anybody else harm Keith?
No, I will not do that.
The Ferrari. While investigators followed up on leads, something strange happened that no one could explain. Just 2 weeks after Keith's disappearance, Olivier, the new boyfriend, showed up with a flashy red Ferrari. It was the kind of car you do not just casually buy. It cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. People started whispering, how did a personal trainer, who by all accounts was struggling financially, afford such a car? Where did the money come from? And why now, so soon after Keith's disappearance? That detail alone pushed investigators to take a deeper look into Olivier's life, and what they found shocked them. The Ferrari had not been purchased. It had been rented under a fake name. He was trying to project wealth, to seem powerful, but there was no financial backing. Olivier was broke. The Ferrari was a front. So if he was broke, where had he been spending his time during the night of the murder? Why was he being so evasive? The break in the case, the pressure mounted. And then, the break came. In May 2016, just weeks after Keith had gone missing, a body was found in a remote area of Sonoma County, over 70 miles away from where Keith had last been seen. The remains were badly decomposed, but dental records confirmed what everyone feared. It was Keith Green. He had been shot in the head and dumped in the woods. No wallet, no phone, no car, just his body alone in a shallow grave. Now it was a murder case, and everything pointed back to Lee and Olivier. The texts that told too much. As detectives pulled phone records, they uncovered a chilling digital trail. The night Keith disappeared, Lee and Olivier had exchanged multiple messages. But even stranger, at one point, Olivier had texted someone else entirely, saying he needed help moving a package. One message, sent just hours after Keith's supposed dinner with Lee, read, "It is done." That line would later haunt prosecutors and be used as damning evidence in court. Further digging revealed that Olivier had also Googled things like how to get rid of a body and best way to bury someone without getting caught. Lee had her own secrets too. She had sent a message to a friend cryptically saying everything will be easier soon. When questioned again, both of them started changing their stories. First, Lee said Keith had left, then she said she did not remember, then she lawyered up. Olivier tried to claim he had never even met Keith, a statement easily disproven by text records and witness accounts.
He wants Cobb killed and just now hang up saying, I'm gonna kill you? That's not cool.
Okay, hold on. So Keith said that. So if I ask Keith right now, he's gonna say yes, right?
Yes.
We'll send you the recording.
Okay, hold on.
In front of you, I'm asking him, okay?
Yeah.
Did you say that you're gonna have Cab killed? Talk to Issa? Okay. But why? Okay, but why?
The arrest, eventually the lies collapsed. On May 20, 2016, both Lee Villanueva and Olivier Adela were arrested and charged in connection with the murder of Keith Green. The community was stunned. Two people who had once lived normal lives now stood accused of a premeditated killing. Prosecutors believed that Lee lured Keith to her home that night under the pretense of a peaceful conversation. Once he arrived, Olivier ambushed him, possibly drugged him, and shot him before dumping his body far away to avoid suspicion. The motive: custody, jealousy, control, and perhaps most disturbingly, the desire to start fresh without the complications of an ex-boyfriend and shared parenting. Olivier turns informant. As the pressure of the trial mounted, Olivier made a decision that surprised everyone. He flipped. In exchange for a lighter sentence, Olivier agreed to testify against Lee. He admitted to helping dispose of the body. He admitted that they had planned Keith's murder for days. He even gave details about how they had scoped out remote locations and rehearsed their alibis. But he placed the blame squarely on Lee, claiming it was her idea, that she was the mastermind, that she hated Keith and wanted him gone so she could live freely and possibly cash in on life insurance, though that part was never fully proven. Still, his cooperation was enough to shift the entire weight of the prosecution onto Lee. The trial in 2020, years after the murder, the trial of Lee Villanueva began. The prosecution painted her as a cold and calculating woman who manipulated those around her to serve her needs. They played the text messages, they showed the security footage, they laid out the evidence, the Google searches, the lack of an alibi, and most importantly, Olivier's testimony. Lee's defense tried to paint Olivier as a liar. They said he was the one who planned the killing, that Lee had no idea what he was doing, that she was a victim of domestic control and manipulation. But the jury did not buy it. After weeks of testimony and deliberation, Lee was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Olivier, in exchange for his testimony, received a significantly reduced sentence. Many felt it was unfair, that he too should have faced life. But the deal had been made, the family's pain through it all. The real tragedy was the children, now left without their father or mother. Keith Green's mother became the guardian. She gave interviews, broke down on the stand, and became the spokesperson for a family shattered by betrayal. She spoke of Keith as a loving father, a loyal son, and someone who would have done anything to be there for his kids. She said his only mistake was trusting the wrong people, and in the end, that trust cost him his life. The Ferrari, the lies, the texts, it was all a mask. Underneath, this was the story of a man who simply wanted to raise his children and maintain peace, but was destroyed by those who could not handle losing control. The case of Keith Green is more than a murder story. It is a chilling example of how jealousy and manipulation can escalate into cold-blooded violence. It is a warning about the danger of control and how people who feel entitled to others' lives can make decisions that destroy everything. And in the middle of it all was a Ferrari, a rented symbol of success, arrogance, and distraction. One flashy mistake that helped unravel the truth. Keith is gone, but his story remains a powerful reminder that even the quietest voices deserve justice. And sometimes, all it takes is one mistake, one arrogant move for everything to fall apart.